Hey everybody, this is Peter Palmiotti, and this is Studio Synergy, episode 66. And yeah, hopefully we won't have issues tonight. But mostly I wanted to update people on what's happening with retro, working on the Kickstarter page. I decided, I have an opportunity before me, and I want to do a few things for it that will take me a little bit longer time, but I should be done in a day, maybe a little longer, and then it's a matter of approval, and that could take a day. Could take a little longer. So I'm thinking sometime this upcoming week we'll go live, and it'll only be for 5 days. And I'm really excited. Lots of people want to share it out, pledge to it, and be a part of it in some way. So I'm going to cut some videos, and yeah, nothing fancy, but I have a couple ideas. So it should be a lot of fun. And yeah, I'm basically like working on it, sleeping a little, working on it. Yeah, just days melt into days recently, and that's what I got to do to make this happen the way I want it to. So it's all good. Definitely, the next time I do one of these, I'll just go live. I won't even talk about it ahead of time. I'll just go live. But this is my first solo Kickstarter, and yeah, I wanted to do a couple of different things for it. So I'm really excited. And yeah, if all goes well, I'm thinking June, July, and August. Hey, Randy, there you are. I'll be taking a working vacation, which is basically I'll be working on retro, arena, and blood rights, and scripting out some other books. But I'll only be mostly posting to social media and not as interactive as I have been. So that will be in essence a working vacation for me, and really excited about that because I'm overdue. I got to get some books done. I gotta get some projects done, some client work done. So once this Kickstarter is finished and hopefully funded, I'll be able to do a lot of that upcoming. So yeah, thank you all for your support. Just going to the YouTube page really quickly. If my computer complies, I ain't got nobody watching. But it's Sunday evening. Everybody's eating. Everybody's gearing up for Game of Thrones tonight, which I'm probably going to miss. But that's okay. I'll probably be watching Killing Eve, which is also a great show. And let me pause the video. I wish you could do that ahead of time. It used to be a function. So, okay, there we go. So with me tonight, we get Eric, who's been here before.
Many times.
Many times. And you can check out Eric Faries. Type it into the internet, and he comes up many places. He's he's always into something, doing something, making art, making music.
I'm always doing something.
You got any gigs lined up right now? What you got?
For artwork, I'm currently working on an animation thing right now, and music, we don't have anything until June, actually. We got some shows to play. For band-wise,
Very
at least.
cool. Yeah. Very, very cool. And with us tonight, we got Pepper. Hey, Pepper. Do you hear me? Do we hear you?
We hear him, but I don't think he has us.
Oh.
Because he's not said anything for quite a bit. So someone should probably message him.
Could possibly one of you do that? If I open Facebook, everything will slow down for me. Well, if we can get him working tonight, that would be awesome. But yeah, it's like my computer can only handle so much, and my internet as well. But we have Randy with us. Randy, how's it going, buddy?
Good. I'm doing the arduous task of updating my business card tonight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm cool enough to pull off an all black business card yet, but I'm going to try it and see if it works.
Well, cool. Where's that from? Some movie? Psycho. What was it? Psycho. American Psycho.
Oh, right.
Black business cards.
Yeah, that's classic. Gotta have the cotton stranded paper. Let me see.
Look, it's embossed.
Awesome. If I may, I'll try to share the screenshot of it, but I'm not sure if I know what I'm doing yet. This is the first time I've done this kind of hangout.
Yeah. Randy's new to this, so yeah, if you click on the screen, a widget on the left-hand side will pop up, a green rectangle. Click on that to screen share. And it might take you a minute to figure out, but I'm clicked on you if that works.
Okay.
Yeah, normally I would share my screen, but the animation I'm currently drawing involves a naked lady, so not sure how you feel about that.
I like naked ladies.
Yeah, but YouTube don't. YouTube's not as happy with that.
I mean, it's, there are like videos on YouTube with naked ladies, but I think it's a whole other category.
Well, this is not a naked lady. Let me see. I think, no. Yes, no. Oh, yeah. Hey. Oh, I get it. It's live. So when you do a share screen, it's actually live.
Yes.
Okay, cool. This is my
Okay, there we go.
new and improved business card.
Nice. I like it.
And any
very cool.
Anything? This is an upgrade from what I was doing. Although it looks like I accidentally erased part of my name here. Oops.
Oh, you have time to fix it.
Hasn't gone to the press yet.
You ran over your own name there. Oh, Pepper dropped out, so I guess Pepper's going to maybe try to come back in. We'll see. It's funny. I just did a hangout with Pepper last night, just a one-on-one conversation, and everything worked for him. So I don't know why he's having an issue tonight, but it's the nature of hangouts. Sometimes it works for you. Sometimes it screws everything up. Oh, there we go.
There it is.
There it is. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Pepper.
Hey. I'm like trying to make sure like my camera is the proper one. There we go. All right.
Hello, Pepper.
Yep.
Hello.
So, let people know about you and what you're up to, Pepper.
Oh, I am Pepper Deluca. I am working on my comic I do with my husband called Campfire Stories of Lake Kikipapi. So I get to I'm on an issue where basically it's a child form of zombieism.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, that happens at camp a lot.
yeah, it does. It's a story about a sleepaway camp, essentially during summer vacation. If you remember the shows, Are You Afraid of the Dark and Salute Your Shorts, kind of combined them.
Very familiar with those shows.
Cool.
So, yeah. Sorry I couldn't hear before. Just having computer issues.
Yeah,
It happens.
it's like it happens, especially in Hangouts, and I'm just happy that things are working on my end. Last time it wasn't so effective.
No, it was not.
No, but everything affects the Hangout for you. Internet, weather, updates. I think the last time updates were an issue for me. Um, Windows was updating for me, and it just wouldn't let me do a decent Hangout.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm just sketching was just sort of a break for me. I'm not sure, if we'll do a full hour tonight, but wanted to get in here, get on to YouTube, give people an update on retro. Um, like I mentioned earlier, it'll probably be this week. There's Wes hanging out in the chat. Thank you, Wes, for hanging out. If people watching don't know, we also got the 100s anthology book 2 Kickstarter coming up. It's just a lot of Kickstarters happening and a lot of friends working on projects. But I'm part of the anthology project. Really, really, really excited about that. I got my story, The Griffin, in there. And who else here has a story in the anthology?
I have one. It's called Sidewards.
Hey. So yeah, we'll be talking all about that coming up really, really soon.
Maybe I'll make it for volume 3.
Maybe you'll make it for volume 3. We hope so. If this one's successful, more than likely nothing's set in stone right now, but might be another anthology. It's like I was around for the first one, but because of life issues and whatnot, I missed getting in.
What
So
was? Hey, would somebody mind filling me in on the details of that? What was the genesis of that? And if you're getting ready for volume 3 now.
no. We're just launching book 2 onto Kickstarter soon.
Oh, cool.
It's essentially, there was a comic book challenge or an art challenge or essentially anything for 100 days created by Kevin Cross years ago. And, most of the people doing the challenge are making their own comics, their own personal projects. So it's essentially for 100 days, you work on your personal project at least 30 minutes or more a day, and you record it in whatever fashion suits you. if it's a video vlog daily or weekly or once a month or just at the end. Some people vlogged about it, blogged about it on their blog sites. Some people just posted in the group, like, "Hey, this is my progress, and here's some pictures and whatnot." But yeah, that was created by Kevin Cross, and essentially anybody who successfully completed it at least once was potentially able to get into the anthology. So you had to be a part of the challenge previously. You had to complete it effectively, and then a list of people were chosen. Initially, it was 31, but we had people drop out. So it's 28 people successfully made it into the anthology book 2. I'm one of them. Pepper's one of them, and we got 26 other people, and it's really exciting. We all got short stories in there, 4-page stories. It's really a collection of some incredibly talented people. Scott Circlin has done the cover. Looks amazing. And yeah, we'll be talking a lot more about that coming up. So yeah, it's really, really, really exciting to be a part of that and to be a part of the super talented group. And yeah, it's like I'm happy with my story, but I'm almost embarrassed compared to some of the such great talent in there. But yeah, that's my working in this business 27 years. It'll be 28 in September. That's the first story that I wrote, penciled, and inked, and completed in my career. So super excited about that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I just did this little 6-pager thing, and it was the first time in a long time that I did all the art and writing myself. Probably since issue 3 of Hawk. And it kind of felt good to figure out where I'm at and know how much more work I have to do to get to where I want to be.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think unless you do everything soup to nuts, you don't really know where you stand because you're. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you prefer to collaborate, or do you prefer to just have the control that comes from working entirely by yourself?
I don't know.
I want to take that. Yeah,
I'm like asking tons of questions. I'm sorry if that's not what
no
really happens.
Really depends for me
No,
on like who I'm working with and like what I'm working on, because obviously I'm in a band, so I do have to, work as a collaboration with stuff like that. I do commission work, like the animation thing I'm doing. Like all I'm doing is inking, and then I'll do the colors and the shading once the inks get approved. So someone else did the pencil work for each of these frames of animation. So that's a collaboration. But then there's things like on YouTube and all that I do that's all me. I edit the video, I film the videos, I edit the videos, like that's all my doing. So I guess it depends on like what the project is, on how I feel about, collaboration or not. And it depends on the person you're collaborating with, honestly.
Seeing that I collaborate with a lot more often, then I actually realized I actually thought about this just the other day. So, I mean, my main comic that I like that I would love to focus on all the time is I'm married to the writer, so it makes things a little bit more unique and challenging at times. So,
but also convenient, right? Because like it's in your hip pocket, right? You can always. Yeah. I mean, my wife and I we collaborated on the first 2 issues. She did the lettering, and it helped her feel like she had a stake in what I was doing, but at the same time, it was like, I kind of know what you mean. Like you don't want to mix business with pleasure too much because it can erode the type of relationship you want to have with the person. So
yeah. Well, at least for the first 5 issues, he's going to be involved. I don't know how after the 5th one. I don't know if he's going to want to have someone else work with me, or I just take it over for like a couple of issues. Or, but I mean, the first one went off really well. I have to redo the front cover, and we're gonna do a reprint on it. And then I have a couple of people that I'm going to be sending out an email to for them to do a like a special edition front cover for it, so that people can get a different piece of artwork that's not mine on the front cover type deal. And then but he thinks I'm crazy half the time. Like he's like, I wanted it like this, and I'm like, yes, but you write like a movie script, and I can't do moving pictures on a drawing.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, there's like a lot of compromising. Ultimately, the story is the one that gets the benefit.
Yeah. Totally. Like the story that I just wrote, well, I kind of went back and forth with the direction I wanted the story to take, and if I felt like if it was anybody else, I probably would have quit the project because I wouldn't have put up with the bullshit that the writer put me through. But the writer was me, so I was just like, all right, fuck, you know, I did like 5 different permutations of the end, and I'm like, they all suck. So I just have to pick the best elements of this and try to make it more campy than I really wanted it to be. But I just kind of went with it. I think it worked out okay. But now it's like I've just come off finishing that, and I'm at that stage where I'm trying to figure out what the next project is going to be, like what the next big one is. I have several people, but like I have like three big ones that I'm trying to figure out what to do first, and I really suck at prioritization. So I'm not sure whether to go for the one that I personally want to do, or the one that pays the best, or the one that could turn into something big, or something else, something that I said I would do fucking 5 years ago. I'm sorry, I don't know if that's very professional.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I would make a pro con list, to like choose which project. As far as me in collaboration, mostly what I've done is collaborate art wise, but me and you, Randy, we sort of worked on the script of your last book together.
Yeah.
To a degree, and that was a lot of fun.
Well, the next issue, I had this great idea for it, but I'm not. It's like I almost want to hire a writer because of that inner struggle I was telling you about, where I'm just going. I'm tired of. I'm sick of my bullshit as a writer because I'm too indecisive, and it leads to delays. I need a writer that understands my characters and my intent, but who can more write to spec. That like in this case, I've got an idea for a story that it's basically a 16-page writing assignment. 8 pages have already been written. It must be inserted into the middle. It's a comic book that some kids find. So I have to tell the arc of the kids and how they intersect with the main character. And the kids find this comic book and they read it, and then something happens at the end. And it can either be 8 pages in front and 8 pages behind, or I can push and pull and we put 1 at the end and 15 in front, or whatever. Whatever serves the story the best. I mean, maybe even do all 16 16 pages together, and then the 8 pages, if it makes sense. But I just had this sort of vague idea of kids in a bad home environment with a deadbeat dad or something like that, and the hero corrects it, but that only after reading the comic book or something. It's kind of like meant to be a little bit of a commentary on comics, what function comics served in the 90s versus today, because the story is set in 1993. And I mean, a lot of the subtle shit I try in my comics goes right over everybody's heads, but I try to put that stuff in there. So I don't know. I'm a mess. I don't know if any writer would want to work with that or not.
Well, you know, I got a lot on my plate, but you know, it's like I'd like to help in some fashion. You know, but yeah, it's like anybody listening, hey, if you want to help us.
Well, I would very much like to work with you again, Peter. If it can be ink or pencils, we can figure something out, or writing. I mean, I'm open to that as well.
Yeah, you know, I'm down. We'll talk. We'll figure it out. You know, my priority right now is gearing up for this Kickstarter and getting it freaking, you know, hitting the button.
It looks badass. It looks badass.
Thanks. Yeah, it's like was it Marshall just said he wanted to share out the cover. I was like, no, I'm waiting for the Kickstarter. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. Really happy with how the colors work has turned out, and you know, this is my first solo Kickstarter, and I decided, you know, it's like I have an opportunity before me to do something more, to do something, you know, it's like I'm sort of looking at it like this is my chance to really build a community around this. And so I had a couple of few fun ideas, and we'll see how it works, or maybe people won't even notice, you know, whatever. But it's just my creative mind in overdrive, and working like a maniac and contacting people and talking with people, and trying to get quotes and whatnot. And yeah, I'm just having a blast. Like, you know, it's like this is my own project, and you know, I was really looking at this long term, and you know, I want to write and draw this for years to come.
I'd really like to give you a quote, because I mean, I look at that as, hey, that's free self promotion. But
yeah.
I'm unsure how to give you a quote that is of any substance, because I'm like, I've seen a few sketches of retro, and you've explained the concept to me, but I haven't seen enough to really give you a quote on what I thought of it. You know, like in that way, other than what I already said, which sounds like a badass idea.
I'm not really asking for a quote on what you think of the story, because, you know, that I'll go to certain people and get, you know, letters for the actual issue. That's something else entirely. I'm asking for a quote in the sense of, you know, me and my work for years, you know, the comic industry, you know, your experiences within making comics itself. I'm looking for a quote that's just from you about any sort of thing surrounding all that.
I gotcha.
Yeah. And you know, so it you know, it's not specifically like, what do you think of page 5 and the story and what the character did. No, I'm not asking for that. Okay. You know, it's like I want people's experiences, and what they, you know, what they think about comics, or their, you know, just experiences making comics, why they make comics, you know, anything along those lines. Will be great. And like I said, I'm cutting a video, and I hope to include some of those in each video I do. You know, the Kickstarter will be 5 days long, and in theory, I hope to cut 5 different videos so that people could come back every day and see something new. But we'll see. We'll see how it all pans out. It's just, you know, it's just been nuts, as you can imagine. You know, it's like Ben Jones is in my Facebook group, Messenger group, and you know, he's done a Kickstarter, then he's done a Indiegogo with his book, Asgard, and I know he's been crazy busy. You know, he works a day job. You know, he's an engineer, but he's also working on Asgard, and I forget exactly where he is. I think, you know, I think the book is fully colored, and well, the book is fully done, so I imagine he's shipping soon. I forget. But yeah, it's just, you know, it's part of the job in making comics is fulfillment and all that. But yeah, it's an exciting time.
Yeah, it's certainly a lot of work. It's so much more work than most people even think
Imagine.
about.
Yeah,
They
it
really don't.
is.
People still get excited about comics, but it's kind of in a, I don't know, it's hard. Comics industry is in a really weird place right now. I hope that we grow out of all this divisiveness. I'd love to see an end to that.
Yeah, well, you know, I look at it from my perspective, and whatever I don't like what I see out there, it's like I choose not to be a part of it. You know, I enjoy making comics, and there's enough of a comic audience out there for me to make a great living out of. So it's just a matter of me doing my job to put together the best comics I can, as well as to reach all the fans I can. And you know, I put up a notice that, you know, hey, share out my YouTube channel. I'm gonna need a bigger audience, and I do stuff like that every now and then. And I got new subscribers. Thank you if you're a new subscriber and now following my madness on YouTube. I plan to, you know, it's like when I will be less interactive online, I will still be regularly on YouTube. So I will be answering every single comment I get here because I've always done that. And I hope to, yeah, just post as regular as I can videos on progress and updates, and have gatherings like this because I love hanging out with my friends and fellow peers, and yeah, I got some great interviews lined up. You know, I got my Independent Crossroads, which is more like my interview show. I got Muttman and Macho Dan. Towards the end of the month, will be coming on, chat with them and their project Hero, currently on Indiegogo, and somebody else in June that I'm totally excited about, and we'll nail down a date, and then I'll start talking about it. But yeah, it's just I think it's a good time. You know, there's a lot of craziness. You know what? There's always craziness going on in any medium and any decade in life. But you know, there's a lot of great things happening right now too, and I think the independent comic book community is really good towards me. So I got nothing but good things to say back to them. And that's why I want to, you know, it's like I'm almost to a degree sharing my Kickstarter page and my comic with other creators and giving them voice. So I hope to some degree it's effective for everybody. So there.
Well, I certainly appreciate any connection that we have. That's been. It's hard to find people like you and people that who I respect as a creator, and that also share that kind of nerdy bug that kind of bites us, and that we get in a place where we do this stuff not really because we have any choice. Like, we do it kind of because we're compelled to do it, not because, like, oh well, it's not like accounting. You can't just, like, all right, I'm going to study being an accountant. Like, it's there's something to this that makes us come back for more abuse.
Yeah.
That's my quote.
There you go. Let me write that down. So what do you think, Pepper? Are you compelled to make comics?
Oh no, I know I am. I think I've been making up stories. I have 5 younger siblings, and I babysat like multiple cousins over the years, and most of them are very much younger than me. So I've been doing this since I was a kid. Like, I think it's the first one I started. When I was watching my cousin, and my cousin didn't like any of the storybooks, so I had to make stories and then draw pictures for him, and just went from there. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's like when I was a teenager, I got into babysitting a lot, and even later. I mean, a lot of my friends got married and had kids, so I take care of their kids a lot. It's like I don't have kids myself, and I don't. It's not the plan at the moment to have kids. I have my cats, but yeah, I mean, growing up, I had a lot of cousins and nephews and nieces and whatnot, and we always got together. And I mean, everything's a story to a degree. It's like um, I know, like, when just getting together with friends, and it's always about entertaining each other to some degree. It's like you go into the forest at night, and it's like, oh, you sort of start telling ghost stories, and it's like craziness like that.
Yeah, I mean, Campfire Stories of Lake Kikipapi, that's a lot of that's based off of me doing camp counseling and just sharing experience with my husband, and then him kind of taking that and turning it into somewhat of a more realistic. And since both of us are from Florida, basically, our camp is not AC'd. And so, yeah, if a heat wave came in, trust me, all those kids would feel it. So, yeah, sorry if I interrupted. I'm sorry.
No. Please. That was the end of my thought, essentially.
I'll relate a story. Like, I'm the youngest of 3, so, like, I never had any siblings to entertain, so I usually just end up entertaining myself or the pets. But my older brother had a comic book collection, and he actually was the one who started making comics before me, and he ended up just giving up at some point and not really pursuing art at all, like going a completely different direction. But he would do these stick figure comics of the Waltons, which we were forced to watch as kids. I don't know if you know the Waltons, but I'm maybe dating myself here. But they were this family of pioneers that lived on this mountain, on Walton's Mountain, and it was really sappy and just drenched in like 80s crappy TV, and we hated it. So he made this comic book called Walton's War, where the characters all fought each other to the death. It was just stick figure drawings. It was seemingly harmless. Now it's like probably have to go see the school counselor or something. But,
yeah.
I remember reading and enjoying several issues of Walton's War, and I was like, oh, well, there's this other show, Little House on the Prairie. So I did my own version of Little House. I completely stole his idea, to make a parody comic. But I had one called Little House Battles, which was pretty much the same thing. But I was like, but I'm going to do it much better. And, it would make the stick figures actually have a little bit of width and length and maybe a little bit of depth, so that you could tell who the characters were, because that was my biggest frustration with my brother's comic. Was like, I have no idea who anybody really is, and he would like write in their name like Tomboy is here, or John Boy, or whatever his name was.
John Boy.
Yeah, John Boy, the writer, the only good actor on the show that I can remember.
But yeah, I mean, I grew up with those shows and I loved them. I'm a sappy guy. I love sappy stuff. And
I mean, it was a cute.
Yeah,
show. It was a cute show. I'll give it that. It was cute.
Yeah. And there wasn't much on back then, so that was
Right.
like, yeah, that was like a family. Like we get together in the living room and hang out and watch the show and spend some time together as a family. And
Yeah.
and it's like with me and my brothers, I was the youngest, so anything they were up to, I just sort of followed along. And they were, they did a lot of well, Jimmy and Anthony, Tony goes by now, but they did a lot of Super 8 films, and they recreated some scenes from movies like The Godfather or Frankenstein. Anthony filmed a scene in the garage where he had Jimmy up against like a lab, like electronics, like he was chained up, like Jimmy was Frankenstein the monster, and he was chained up against these electronics and whatnot, and then the electronic stuff caught fire, and I think Jimmy's jeans caught fire. so it was always fun in the Palmiotti house.
Fun. They're good birds. The Palmiotti household.
Yeah, a little fire don't hurt nobody. Toughens you up.
Yeah, he survived. He, builds character.
He lived. He's fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
Just ignore the big burn on his face. Yeah, that's fine. It might burn when he pees,
yeah.
but
But yeah, I mean, they did a lot of just filming Super 8 stuff, and Anthony at one time was into claymation, so he did this, like, he created this little lab and put claymation monsters tearing it apart. And we all had G.I. Joe figures, and I remember one day going out. We didn't have a very big backyard because we had a good sized garage, and on the side of the garage we had like this strip of dirt. So we got all our Anthony and Jimmy got all our G.I. Joe figures and planes and jeeps and tanks and everything, and filmed this whole elaborate war scene where they had everything hooked up to firecrackers and just flammable stuff going off here and there, and the plane on a string, and it was going down in flames, and everything became a molten mess, in which they buried. And But yeah, I wish we had some of the freaking films. Unfortunately, over time, is like, I think we had stuff on cassette at one point or VHS, and but nothing survived. Through the
I mean, considering
years.
how your stories are going, I'm surprised everything didn't get burnt.
Yeah, well, there's a strong possibility. We were all young and pyros, and
It was
Fire,
several
Purdy.
decades ago too, so that was before safety gear of any kind was invented.
yeah, it's like now, everybody would be worried about the kids, but it's creativity. It's
Right.
It's creativity. So what if they singe their eyebrows out every now and then? It'll grow back.
I don't know. My father's favorite thing to do with us was if he saw us like riding on the handlebars of a bicycle or like anything like dangerous or like something like that, he'd get out this what seemed to be a scrapbook by layman's terms. My father was a homicide detective and was a traffic detective for a while. So inside, when you opened them, was a bunch of crash scenes and victim pictures, and basically he would explain what happened to these people to us. I think the first time he did it, I was like 6 years old.
Yeah, see, the problem with that is that's also how you accidentally create like serial killers and shit. Like, don't show them how it's done.
Well, and the thing is my family was really worried for a very long time, because like I would sit there and I would see like these violent things, and then I would just be like, okay. And like this young kid that's just like, okay, that happens. Carry on. Like, like, why don't you have any emotion? And then like when I was in my maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, I found out that I have Asperger's. So that's why I didn't really care. Is I just thought of it as a fact of life, and I just moved on. So,
yeah.
Right.
I was like the opposite. Like I was super protected as a kid because, the youngest of 5 altogether. And yeah, my parents wouldn't even let me cross the street without, one of them around or one of my brothers around. It's like Jimmy wound up being sort of my babysitter for at least a year, reluctantly, like at times, because he liked to go out and I wanted to go out, and it's like, I walked around the block. We had friends that lived around the corner on either side and whatnot. But yeah, it's like, the horrors of life I was protected from. And I remember when I finally left home and moved out of home, I got a really crappy apartment with a friend of mine just to see what rough life was like, I guess. Which I learned pretty well. It's like, yeah, without the comfort of security that your parents provide, and finances, and yeah, life can be a daunting challenge.
Yeah, I'm kind of happy. I'm like the third, so I'm the oldest male in my family in the line. So I have 2 younger brothers and 3 younger sisters and 2 older sisters. So, if you ask my 2 older sisters, they watched us for a lot of times, but me and my younger sister that were in the house at the time before the younger 4 were born, we don't ever remember being babysat very often by them, to the degree that they say. We were normally told, stay at home, entertain, don't leave the house. I'm going to go down the street to my friends. That was the babysitting.
Yeah.
And then you have my younger brother who took my stepmother's stiletto to my younger sister's head at 3 years old.
Oh no.
So we're kind of all weird and wack. Well, we're all from Florida, so let me just Yeah,
The deck is stacked against you.
yeah, we're all highly intelligent, but sometimes we just don't have common sense. So it's I mean, my youngest brother right now he's 16, so there's a 20-year difference between me and him. So
yeah, I mean that's huge. Like, I was closest with Jimmy because he's really like only a year and a half older than me, and then Anthony, who's a couple years older than Jimmy, seemed like a whole different generation to me. So it's like we all love each other, but I was really just closest to my, closest brother in age.
Yeah, I know a few people that are like that. When you have like more than, I want to say, it usually appears, most of the people that I know, it appears if there's like maybe greater than 2 or 3 years. So even in my own family, it's a little bit weird. So
Yeah,
I'm rambling now. Sorry.
It makes sense though, like, because like at certain ages you really just run with your own crowd, and anybody else seems like, well, you're ancient or you're still a baby. It's like,
Yeah.
I do know, like, for me, it seemed like a lot of my friends were always younger than me, which I guess is still the case because everybody here is younger than me. It's just, mentally I'm still 15, as my ex says.
There's nothing wrong with being mentally 15. Until
No.
he says the word balls or duty.
The littlest thing makes me happy, so it's like it works for me. I don't know. But okay, so I guess we've been going an hour, probably a little less, but I didn't want to do a super long one. This has been fun. Oh, Mario is here. Say goodnight, everybody. Oh, he's still there. But yeah, it's like I got things to do tonight. I'll probably be working into the night. I sort of just like crashed from exhaustion shortly after lunch today. Just so much going on, but it's all groovy. This is Thumper, by the way. Yeah, it's you. So I guess we'll do. We'll just let people know where they can find you online. So from left to right, we got Eric.
Yeah, you can pretty much find me through either on YouTube. You can find me through my name, Eric Faries, Faris. On Twitter, you can find me through Eric Ronan. Same on Twitch, where I do streams from time to time. And then other than that, if you want to check out, if you're into stoner metal or doom metal or anything like that, look up the band Black Bog. That is my band, and pretty much it.
Cool.
Could you spell your last name again? Was it Faries?
Faries.
Oh, IES. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we have Pepper.
You can like literally look me up at just type in Pepper Deluca, Deluca, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever I'm at. I know I'm on YouTube somewhere, but I post regularly, so I'm trying to get better. But yeah, I'm trying to get a little bit better audio because it echoes a lot when I'm trying to record, and sometimes it doesn't really work out very well.
There's a few ways you can kind of fix that problem.
Yeah, we just got some foam to put up on the wall.
That and a good microphone helps.
Yeah.
Good condenser. But then, yeah, foam or put up anything on the walls that can diffuse sound in different directions, like big, like you can see behind me, those big wooden thingies back there. Those things will stop sound from just reverberating back and forth. So anything to stop sound from just doing this back and forth.
Yeah.
Just those two little things do that, Eric?
Those two
Or you
little
need the whole
things, the
wall
blanket
covered?
over there, the foam on the walls, there's foam in the corners, there's shelves everywhere with toys on them. There's a couch back there.
Trust me, I'm starting to get to that point, but this room, since me and my husband are looking to try to make sure that we have a kid soon, we can't do too much to this room because it's gonna, where I'm at is gonna turn into the child's room. So
yeah,
gotcha.
So whatever we do here, we now have to move it to more of the main living space where I know it's just going to become like a huge, massive pile of toys coming from the bedroom all the way out to the family room type deal. So,
I mean, hey, that's diffusion. That blocks sound waves.
Yep.
Well, Pepper, you got to put your toys away, dude.
At least I keep my toys up on shelves.
Well, I mean,
there you go.
most of the toys are all art supplies. So.
Then we have Randy with us tonight.
I'm still figuring life out. I'm on Patreon, and I already showed you my business card, so that's kind of it. Is I really want to get my Patreon up to a respectable active level. It's Patreon /R Bishop, and I've got a cheesy video that very, very briefly kind of recaps like all of the products that I've made up to the point that the video had been made. I've made some since then, but I'm trying to launch a universe by myself, and it's pretty overwhelming just keeping one character afloat and in front of people. So I'm very much figuring it out as I go. But yeah, that's pretty much it. R Bishop Comics is my Gmail, Instagram, and Art of Randyl Bishop on Facebook. I am not Randy Bishop. I am Randyl Bishop, Randyl. There is a comics artist. He's awesome. I've talked to him before, but he is not me. His body work is not anything like my body work. So I'd love to collaborate with him sometime and blow everybody's mind. But that is not me. Mine is Art of he is Randy Bishop Art.
Do you prefer to be called Randy or Randall?
It really doesn't matter. I respond to both. Yeah. My name is Randy, and my middle name is Lynn. So I just use my middle initial. But the thing is, when you use a middle initial in like promotions and stuff, they usually drop it. And so I'm like, all right, fine, fuck it, I'll make it part of my first name. And I do have people who call me Randall because I've done that for long enough now that a couple people are doing it because they don't know better. But I don't mind, whichever. So that's a good way to keep us apart, I think.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny because, like, you know, essentially that's what I'm trying to do is like what you just mentioned about universes is like build my own sort of tiny universe. And I saw a post on Facebook from one of the comic groups, and somebody posted like a question like, how many people here are doing a universe? And there must have been 150 people in the thread.
Everybody. Everybody's doing their own thing.
Yeah, essentially everybody's trying to create their own universe. You know, if you went through them all, there might be one or two people that are successful. Yeah. So it is definitely a challenge. But that actually would be an interesting topic for a whole episode, like building your own universe and how hard it is and how effective you are at it and all that jazz.
This was fun. I thank you for inviting me. It's very much my pleasure and honor to be here. I appreciate meeting you guys, Pepper and Eric. Nice to meet you both.
Nice meeting you.
Likewise.
Yeah, Randy, I've been talking to for a while. I don't know. I thought I had you on the show. I guess we talk so often. But but yeah, definitely you're welcome back anytime. You can get on, and we're all busy and whatnot. But now you're part of my Facebook group, Madness. So you'll see when we go live and all that jazz.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for watching the video. If you're watching it later, please leave a comment below. Subscribe if you haven't. Just trying to grow past 1,000 already. Slowly, it's happening. And I'll try to check in as I can and give you further progress on my retro campaign. This is really a lifelong dream. I created this character back when I was a teenager, so it's about time I get him out there. Thank you, everybody, once again. Love you all. Make comics and art. See you again shortly.